but it's an important holiday. Okay, now let me talk a little bit about some of the food that we eat on Thanksgiving. So, the meal that we have on this holiday is similar to the meal that we have on Christmas. So, the dishes are very similar, and a lot of them are the same. The biggest difference is that Thanksgiving is famous for turkey. And this is kind of the protagonist of the meal for many families, right? This is the main character, let's say. For Christmas, some people eat turkey. That's true. However, I think that it's more common to eat ham on Christmas. And this is one of my favorite things during the Christmas meal is eating ham. So I associate ham with Christmas and turkey with Thanksgiving. However, the side dishes are very similar, and a lot of them are the same. So I just refer to all of this as holiday food in the US. And this is one of the best things about celebrating these holidays in the US compared to maybe celebrating Christmas in other countries, because the US has a lot of food that is meant for these holidays. So there is a lot of food that's specifically linked to these holidays. And I know you have this in other countries as well. However, in my experience, talking to students from different countries and living in Mexico for many years, there usually isn't as much specific holiday food that you only eat during this season, during the Thanksgiving or Christmas season. Whereas in the US, there are a lot of dishes where if you just say the name of the dish, immediately people think of Christmas or they think of Thanksgiving. So that was one of my complaints when I celebrated Christmas in Mexico, is I felt that there was some holiday food, but not nearly as much as in the US, because a lot of the holiday food that we ate in Mexico is food that you might also eat during other parts of the year. There are some things that are definitely associated with Christmas. However, in my experience, not as much as the holiday food in the US. So, for example, if you think of the Christmas ham, if you see the sight of that ham that's sliced in thin slices, you automatically think of Christmas. Or if you see a turkey coming out of the oven, then you automatically think of Thanksgiving. And there are other dishes like this as well. For example, stuffing. So this is kind of a wet bread pudding, I guess you could call it, that traditionally was stuffed inside the turkey to cook with the turkey. However, you don't need to do that, and I've read that it can actually be dangerous if you don't do it correctly, but that's where the name comes from, stuffing, right? It was stuffed in the meat of the turkey. So if someone says the word stuffing, you immediately think of Thanksgiving, usually. Another one is cranberry sauce. There's this special sauce that it's really delicious, and it kind of enhances the other dishes. The word enhance refers to making something better. And so when I say that the cranberry sauce enhances other dishes, I'm saying that you can eat the cranberry sauce with these other side dishes or with the turkey, and it creates a really delicious combination. I like eating turkey with this cranberry sauce. So that's a really tasty combo, in my opinion. And then with the turkey, there is white meat and dark meat. So I prefer dark meat because it has more flavor. But some people like white meat. So the turkey has both. It has white meat and dark meat. And people will normally ask you, do you want white or dark? Right? In my opinion, if you eat white meat, then you should pair it with this cranberry sauce. When I say that you pair something with something else, this means that you put the two things together. So I think that the white meat can be a little bit dry and without a lot of flavor. So I like to pair it with the cranberry sauce, and this enhances the experience, the flavor of the turkey. So cranberry sauce is another one that people will immediately associate with Thanksgiving, usually. And another one could be sweet potato casserole. This is one of my favorite dishes because it's not a dessert. However, it's sweet. So it's kind of an interesting side dish where you have these sweet potatoes, which are in general sweet, right? And then you can also put things like brown sugar or marshmallows, things like that, that can make it even sweeter. If you don't know what a marshmallow is, this is that white, soft food that you usually roast over a fire when you're camping. This is a marshmallow. So some people add marshmallows to this sweet potato casserole, and it's really delicious. I've never had a bad sweet potato casserole. It's kind of hard to go wrong with this dish. So that's another one where if you say that, people immediately think of Thanksgiving or Christmas. And one other one that I like is green bean casserole. So this is another casserole that you bake in the oven, and it's with green beans and other things. Usually this is associated with holidays, with Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that's another one. And then there are other dishes that you can have at other times during the year, but they're also very related to these two holidays. So, for example, mashed potatoes and gravy. You can eat that anytime throughout the year. However, it's hard for me to imagine a Thanksgiving meal without mashed potatoes and without gravy. So that's one that's not just particular to Thanksgiving. However, I can't imagine Thanksgiving without it. And there are other things like dinner rolls. A roll in this context refers to a piece of bread. It's usually really fluffy on the inside. It's soft and delicious. You add butter to it. It's really good. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. By the way, when we say that your mouth is watering, we're saying that you are salivating. Your mouth is producing saliva because you're imagining eating something. We say your mouth is watering. And one of the most popular desserts that we eat during Thanksgiving is pie. Things like pumpkin pie, pecan pie, apple pie. We have tons of different pies. That's one of my favorite desserts that we eat during Thanksgiving. And there are many other dishes that are associated with Thanksgiving or with Christmas. Those are just a handful of them.
And some of my favorite